a few minutes. But I posted this poll and just listed a few projects that I've been interested in here too. Are there stuff, I know I've been learning a lot more about Tetra the last few months. Mentor's finally on testnet. Liquid Loans on testnet. Power City, I don't know sure if they're on testnet, but they have Portal Swap. It's up, and that's one of the products that they've been letting people use and stuff. What is there products here? Any of these in particular that you like or are excited about to use, or tokenomics wise or utility wise? Is there anything else that you're interested in that you hope to be coming out in the next 60 days or so?
I'm a little bit worried about using new products right off of launch, but I've heard of all of these products, and I'm actually I'm like secretly excited about all of them. But I think probably of the 4 you have listed here, it's probably a tie between Power City, Tetra, and Mintra, which is crazy. And Liquid Loans too. Like I don't usually try to take out loans, which is the only reason why I'm less excited about Liquid Loans, is because I don't do loans myself. So, but I've heard a lot of good use cases for taking out loans. So I understand why people are excited about it. And I think, it's worth being excited about if that's like one of the features that you're interested in. But Power City, and Portal Swap, I think is going to help bring adoption. Tetra too, if Tetra is successful in what they're doing, it kind of puts the power of automation in the hand of the users and lets people react quicker with smart flows and automated workflows, which I think is just incredible. So I'm optimistically wary. I want to see it in action first and see how other people are using it. But Tetra is one of the projects again that just I'm secretly excited about. I'm just kind of been watching over the past half a year. Mintra, and again, Mintra is one that I'm excited about, not because I use NFTs, but because I know that they also support Hedron and the Hex perpetuals, so that like the NFT token, the tokenized HSIs. And so, like I mentioned, one of their devs had reached out to me and asked if I could help them out with some of the calculations on that, or how I got the data. And so I'm very excited about that one, not only because of that, but then also it just looks beautiful. And like you said, there needs to be offerings at a mall, right, to attract people. If there's no offerings of other products, like why is there a mall? It's just like a single store, and if I have no reason to go to the Apple store, then I'm not going to go to the Apple store. But if I'm at a mall and I see an Apple store, I might be tempted to go in and check out what's there. I personally will probably not use Mintra myself, but it's one of those projects that I'm just very excited about, and I think it's going to be wonderful for the PulseChain economy and community. So I know, like, I didn't vote in your poll intentionally because I'm secretly excited for all of them on some level.
You were so excited that you couldn't dare click a button to offend the other buttons. I understand. Yeah, I didn't vote. I asked the chat which one they wanted me to vote for, because it's just a streaming Twitter account, and I don't want to vote myself because I feel like that would the integrity of the poll and all that. But chat won one click, and they UFO won it. I clicked Liquid Loans. Yeah, Power City, a lot of people. So this is 800. I always like taking this, especially when I have a poll where there's like 1,000 or more people, or around 1,000, because I had a poll for how much were people making on the farms a few weeks ago, and like almost 1,500 people answered that poll, and a lot of them said it was like $10. I think the most popular answer was under $10, but then there's a lot of answers that were like over $50 or $30 and stuff. And I was like, well, again, I'm looking around. Is anybody doing this? Apparently there are people doing it. It's a very popular poll. But for this one, 892 votes. So it looks like 400 people who clicked the button or so. Liquid Loans, they think, again, Moon's first. This is not what you're most excited about, any of that, but the tokenomics, talking about the tokenomics and the platform use, and a lot of that factors into whether people use it, buy it, need it, and stake it, all that stuff. Liquid Loans, 400 some people there. and then a few hundred people with Power City. Looks like maybe 100 or so for Tetra, and then Mintra got a couple hundred over there too. So that's what I like about polls. You can, especially if a lot of people participate, you can kind of see, again, you got to factor in there's a margin of error. You got to assume people are telling the truth. Some of these questions, it's easier to not tell the truth versus tell the truth too. But looking at it like this, it's very cool to see there are active people who are excited about these products coming up on PulseChain, and which ones that they've either put their money in and that now they're kind of like they want it to succeed, or they really just believe in the tokenomics and the power of the platform to provide a lot of value for the ecosystem. So.
And I know you didn't list it there, but 0x Coast, I know they were having some trouble with their partner that they were working with, but I saw them put out a tweet about an on-ramp, like who's ready for an on-ramp or something. I don't know. It's just one of those projects too that I'm just very excited about, because I have been waiting for a long time for like an on-ramp where I can just bypass Kraken or Coinbase or any of these other middlemen and just go straight to PulseChain without having to go to Ethereum. One thing I did find out though through working on Hex Scout, and it's even included in one of the tutorials on Hex Scout, is I think it was changed now, but you can actually send your funds from send your funds directly from your Kraken or Coinbase account and specify your recipient wallet. So you can actually just buy your ETH or US dollar or whatever and just send it directly into Pulse to your recipient wallet on PulseChain, which I hadn't thought about before, because previously I was just going from Coinbase to my wallet and then to the bridge. But it was just like one of those things that made me think like how nice it would be to just have a direct on-ramp to Pulse.
Yeah, I know they were just with Coast. They were having some trouble out of the partner. That was one of the, was it Prime Trust or something? A lot of different companies were using them, and unfortunately, I felt bad for them too. It's like they launched, everything was fine, and then all of a sudden, all that stuff happened, and a lot of different people using them that were clients of them. Just, and that's the place where the money gets exchanged and custodial wise, and I don't know all the details, but that was the primary way for the partner they needed to, a lot of people needed to get their stuff to work. So hopefully they find another one and they're able to get the stablecoin launch, because they hadn't launched that yet, but they launched the platform where it could do the different deposits and stuff. But then next, I think, was launching the stablecoin, and definitely having that on PulseChain will be great, because right now a lot of the value comes from what's bridged over. Right, a lot of stable coins bridged over. But if we have native value on PulseChain, like that's just good to have a different, good to add to the value of the network, and also just make things much more seamless and not having to rely on Ethereum as much, and help some of these projects grow where they get backed by so much more money and things like that.
I mean, interoperability of blockchains is important, but also having like that, like direct legacy finance to PulseChain, I think is going to be huge.